This is Jason,
This is Chad.
and this is Please Pass the Bacon.
Friday, podcast day. Friday, podcast day.
Friday, podcast day.
Still going.
Welcome to the podcast.
Rhythm.
Welcome back.
Please, welcome back.
Welcome
to
back. Welcome back to
Please
Pass
the
Bacon. So,
Hey, buddy.
how are you?
Hey, I'm not at work right now. It's a beautiful day outside.
And
so
it's a Friday, and I'm still sweating.
wipe
that
wipe
face
that
wipe.
off.
So,
Sorry for those that you've had to see that.
time to catch up a little bit before we get into some other stuff.
Yeah.
Anything to catch up on?
Well, I mean, I always, I like to talk about myself.
Yes.
So,
what do you have to say?
One of the things
About
I had
Chad.
going on was I was contacted by a guy at PBS who wanted to do a story about like the books and the podcast and the therapy pigs and
Why do I
all the
think it
stuff
was
we
about?
do at
Why do
work.
I think it went like this? Books, pigs, and then the podcast got mentioned. I'm just saying. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
I don't like your attitude there because he didn't know about the podcast. So once he found out all that stuff,
Then he's like,
everything,
"Ooh,
like, leveled
let's go
out."
podcast,
yeah, podcast
book, pigs."
book, and I mentioned your name and I showed him a handsome picture of you.
Ah, man, you're
You know what?
sweet.
You know
You're
what?
sweet.
You know what I did show him though, and actually, you just posted this to our YouTube channel, the P4 video that you.
To Tom Cruise.
Yes. So you interviewed Tom Cruise for.
Yeah. For larceny from auto prevention tips.
Yes. Thank you, Tom, for doing
Yeah,
that.
a big shout out to that.
So that's posted up. I showed him that. He's like, he looked at that video of you and he's like, he is really good.
You're too kind.
Well, I said, all right, he is, but let's
shucks.
let's talk about me again because you're at my house.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool. But he may want to reach out to you.
when
He
is
was-
that gonna air?
That might not be till the fall. So
Oh,
they're
wow.
they're in reruns right now.
Oh, wow.
For all you kids out there, a rerun is something that's been played before. So that's what we call them when I was a kid, is reruns or repeats. So
Not to be confused with rerun from the sitcom.
that's like your age people.
That's right. That's right.
So I had that going on. So today I'm
Yep.
getting gas
Okay.
and the TV thing comes on when I'm
Oh,
pumping the gas.
I think it's called GSTV, gas
gas
station
TV. Does that? I mean, I feel like it's another way to advertise,
Okay.
but I also feel like
It's a
that they want
distraction?
you to be distracted, so you pump more gas. You think
Ooh.
that's true?
Not a bad theory.
Because I mean, you're sitting there
A little
watching.
conspiracy. No, that's not a bad theory. Yeah.
Because not only
actually it is not bad. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's
yeah.
not terrible.
there's. I mean, what's not
A gas
my
station
theory
TV,
or the TV?
whatever, GSTV, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean, it's good information on
Yeah.
there typically. So I don't know. Maybe they're trying to catch you watching TV, and then the next thing you know, you wanted $20 of gas. You're going up to 40 because
Or the
you're
next
all
thing you
into
know,
what's
you're
on.
sitting there, you're smoking your cigarette while you're pumping gas and you're watching TV.
On your cell phone.
It overflows, the vapors, boom.
Do a cool explosion. The second pump goes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll settle
We don't have time for chain reactions.
down. Oh. So yeah,
what else? What else is new? I know you love this about me. On podcast days, what I tend to try to do is cram a bunch of stuff
that you shouldn't do.
that I shouldn't do the day we're doing the podcast, because then I start to push things too close to when we're actually trying to set up and when our guest gets here. So I figured I would stay in step with that and decide to replace my back door today.
Have you ever replaced a door in a home before, Jason?
Replaced, no. I have put in a new door.
Okay.
In framing. I've never torn out and then replaced.
So you said, "Hey, you're looking. This is you looking at yourself in the mirror. Hey, Jason, I know we have a podcast today, but tell you what, buddy, let's try to replace the door in the back door of my house. today.
Let's go check out Jeff on I think it's called Renovision DIY. A guy
YouTube?
I watch on YouTube.
Okay.
He's my nemesis because I look at him spackle, I look at him mud and tape drywall, and it is so easy. He
knows exactly what he's doing.
It is so easy. He's like, all you do, and then So the door, rip it out, put it in. I got it ripped out fine. But, so shimming, do you know what that is? You're sticking
That's,
the wood shims on the side.
Okay, whoa,
on the side of each.
went a work-related shim.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the side of the door, to try to square it up. Not a one-man job, I don't think. I didn't find this morning. I actually had to call a friend of ours who so graciously left what they were doing, swung by, and not 2 minutes into him helping me, we had it ready to go.
The door
it's
looks
not
great.
done.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
not
the door
done.
looks great, though, so
But
when it's finished, yeah.
I felt pretty useless when he showed up, and in 2 minutes, he's like, nope, take these out, put these up here, boom, we're good to go.
If it makes you feel any better, even if I had watched, what's your guy's name? Jeff?
I think it's Jeff Thorman.
Even if I had watched his YouTube video, I would have not had the audacity to even try. I would have quit before I tried.
It's a good channel, I will say, but I'm very jealous of his skills. I'm going to just come clean.
Okay.
He's the man.
I'm proud of you for saying that.
So what else do you have?
Can I ask you one more thing that we were talking yesterday on the phone, both in our motor vehicles, and you arrived at a destination.
So we were talking on the phone in our separate motor vehicles.
Correct.
To each other.
Yes.
We weren't just like sitting in the car at work
that
talking
would
on
be
the
silly
phone.
to each other. That would be silly.
Okay.
So I'm talking to you, and you're like, all right, I just pulled up at the CVS. I'm like, all right, buddy. Well,
because we were talking about podcast stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're like, all right, okay, what?
I completely forgot why I pulled into CVS. It's like forgetting your keys, right? Where'd I put my keys?
No.
But a little bit
More worser.
Okay, it's more worse than that. Yeah, I literally forgot why I pulled into CVS.
So
I had my mental list. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hit CVS. I'm gonna jump into Harris Teeter real quick. Boom, I'm gonna return the battery that I just changed out of my truck over at the Advance. I'm gonna take the old one back. Boom, we start talking about podcast. I pull in. Let's wrap it up. I'm here. I got to get my stuff. Boom. Didn't know what stuff I was here to get.
So what did you? When we got off the phone, you were like, all right, I'm gonna go in and see if. So what happened?
I just went in and bought razors
for your head.
Yeah, head and face. Didn't need them,
But I did say, are you there for hair care products? And you said no, but technically,
it's
a head care.
That is a hair.
It is
care
hair
product. You are managing your hair,
hair.
with the, yeah. Good job.
All right. Yeah, that's what we got going on. Should we? You know what I would like to do this day?
What?
I'd like to change it up a little bit.
What do you want to do?
You don't mind?
No,
do you
not
mind?
at all. No.
I would like to jump.
Let's keep it fresh.
Right into our good news segment. Oh, I like it.
I could see it.
I like it when we say it at the same time.
Okay,
like that.
good.
You make my voice sound better.
All right.
So, without further ado, why don't you welcome her?
Your name again? This is Elaine Jones, and Elaine is with
Atrium Health at
Atrium
University
Health.
City.
Good deal. And Elaine, tell us about what you do at Atrium Health.
I happen to be one of the dietitians there.
Okay.
So
I
you
am
help,
officially
So what does that mean?
you help people go on diets?
well, if they desire to, but most people,
No.
we all
No.
loathe the word diet. So typically in the hospital setting, we are working to find what we call therapeutic ways to address chronic disease. We can help people figure out foods that maybe they need to eliminate to address a particular chronic situation, like high blood pressure, or if they're dealing with diabetes.
And you try to influence that with diet.
We try to address chronic disease management through your food choices.
This is like crime prevention. But
so there's the tie, yeah.
It's like food
It's
related
disease
bodies
prevention.
under crime. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Because I bet a lot of people didn't even know that hospitals had that sort of thing where they're actually trying to prevent issues rather than just...
And is it for patients or is it for just
anyone
people in the community?
People in the community. The hospital structure itself houses, of course, people that are not well enough to be home, but we try to make them better. We try to give them tools so that they won't have to come back and be suffering from the same ailment that brought them in there. But we have plenty of outpatient programs to try to educate people when they are feeling well, to prevent them from developing a situation that would cause them to be hospitalized or need to see the doctor more often.
Gotcha. And one of the ways that we came across you was when we helped out with your, is it the 5210?
The 5210 program.
5210?
Yes. You all were stellar participants in that program.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that, and then we can kind of...
Sure. So the 5210 program that we have through Atrium Health is an outline of healthy lifestyle habits. So the 5 stands for 5 servings of fruits and vegetables, which everybody needs as a minimum every day. The 2 stands for...
2 hours or less.
Oh my goodness, 2 hours or less.
No.
Of screen time.
Screen time, yes. 2 hours or less of screen time.
There we go. And the 1 stands for at least 1 hour of physical activity, which we encourage people doesn't have to be a continuous 60 minutes. You can break it up in 10 to 15 minute segments over the course of the day.
Just be active.
Just to be active. Some people want to set an alarm of some sort. So if they've been sedentary or sitting still for a while, for 45 minutes or an hour, something beeps or buzzes or alarms to get them up and moving to remind them.
A lot of phone stuff now, too, I think.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the 0 is for zero sugary drinks, which really is the number one reason that we suffer from obesity so horrifically in the United States.
And how many grams of sugar are in one soda?
Oh, it depends on the soda. I mean, you can have amped sodas. You can have your typical Coca-Cola Mountain Dew is probably around 32.
And what does that look like? What is 32 grams? It's probably a good handful, would you say, of sugar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really 32 teaspoons, so that would be times 4. If you're drinking the whole bottle.
32 teaspoons of
Most
sugar.
people, if you have a large bottle, you're not thinking of it as 3 to 4 separate servings, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
You think of a singular item being a singular serving.
Right.
And that's where there's a lot of mindless eating and drinking going on. So that's one of the things we just try to educate people on, is to be more present and mindful of how they're eating and drinking.
People we work with, I cut out sodas and I've lost
umpteen pounds.
7 pounds this month.
Absolutely.
I mean, just insane.
Yeah.
How quickly that
it
can
happens. It happens. They're nutritionless calories that we're consuming. They're really not doing anything. Your body does not need that added sugar. The American Heart Association suggests that you limit it to between 4 and 6 teaspoons of added sugar a day.
Oh, goodness. I just had a can of soda before she got here.
You sure? That's the first thing I thought of is the ginger ale you were drinking.
Yeah. At least it was ginger ale. It wasn't.
I had a kombucha.
Hey, we're on the air.
Yeah, a kombucha. No, that's a drink. It's a healthy drink.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, for good GI health.
Good GI health.
Good probiotics.
Yeah.
Why are we going back to poop again with you?
No, it's just GI. We're not talking about
It's an essential bodily function.
Yeah. It really is.
Did you hear the hospital term?
Yeah, it's a bodily function.
Elimination.
But I do think that a lot of people get frustrated when they cut that soda out, for a week or whatever, and they don't see a drastic
like immediate
change,
results.
Not thinking about how many years that they've been doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's built it up, and people can get frustrated with, wow, it's been a week. Why haven't I? It's not worth the struggle, I guess. So that's one of the things that you guys try to help people is know when to do the right thing.
Well, and we try to keep it real. We try to bring the information to where they are and adapt small changes into what their typical habits are so that it's not overwhelming. The first time you miss a goal, it can be devastating and set you back and put you even further back than where you started your program in the very beginning. So, we talk about exercise. We talk about being more of a mover.
And a shaker.
Yeah, shaking burns calories too. It's all good.
Well, and that's where we came in. We helped with a little bit of the exercise that day and the garden, which is a big thing, a big learning tool for the kids, because some of these kids, they may come from homes where there's no yard or a very small yard where they can't put a garden,
right?
A big garden,
right?
But you're teaching them how they can do even stuff where they can do it on their patio.
Do some of them not even realize how we get all this food?
No, absolutely not. And it was a world of wonderment in that garden when we first brought the kids, when you all joined us, and they would then look forward to the next week, and they were coming back, and wanting to know what else they could pick off the plant and eat and try.
Right.
And it's an incredible way to get children to invest in their food choices and to be more connected with the food that's going in their bodies. And it's really easy. You can plant carrot seeds in a bucket filled with soil and some sand.
I've seen it with family, nephews and stuff, that they might not like vegetables, but if they go to the garden and they pick vegetables and they're choosing it, picking it, eat it.
Sure.
So it's way cooler that way.
Yeah.
It is
like
way
some
cooler.
control.
Yeah.
It is.
Over your decisions.
Well, I think too, it's a little bit of ownership. Like, hey, we've made this food. Now we're going to enjoy it rather than it just being
appears.
handed.
Yeah, and if you don't
fridge.
have the space or the ability or the time, or you've missed the season to grow outside, just getting them in the kitchen and having them participate in what you're eating for dinner. Have them prep it. Have them fix it. It was their decision to eat it. To fix it for the family to eat it. They helped prep it. They want to know what it tastes like. They have ownership and pride then when you're sitting down, and they're also going to encourage their siblings, if their siblings there, to eat it.
And part of your motivation with this is because kind of in that university area, there are really quite a few areas of what they call food deserts.
Food deserts. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so some of these kids just not only didn't have the knowledge about what kind of food was healthy or where the food came from, but some of these kids were just not getting fed enough, especially when it came to school being out. No more lunches at school, no more breakfast at school.
Exactly.
And now they're left with fewer food options.
Right.
And
Or fewer also healthy food options. It's an unfortunate state of today where it's much less expensive to purchase through fast food chains.
Right.
High calorie, low value food items. And so what the USDA has is they have a summer food service program that you can offer. Any site can do it if you are in an area where there are schools of need.
How did you find out about that? Just
through Michael Gibson, our previous food service director.
Oh, okay.
He had just moved up here and taken over the role at our hospital and had moved from the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. And they had run it successfully for 3 years. And when we were doing the program that you all helped with, it was an opportunity to feed more than just that group of 12 to 18 kids that were coming on one day a week, to expand it and try to really dive into and take a chunk out of the hunger needs in the area of the hospital.
So you literally took the reins and went from last summer.
Yes.
From feeding, how many for the whole summer last year?
So for the first summer when we piloted it, over 4 weeks, we had 154 kids. We didn't market it. We just tried to...
Wait, you said 154 over
154 kids over 4 weeks.
And that's 154 free meals.
Yes.
Free meals. So
Yes.
they come into the hospital.
Free good meal. They can't just come in and get the basket of
French
chicken
fries.
tenders and fries.
Yeah, we're not pushing pizza and corn dogs and jalapeno poppers. Not that there isn't a place every once in a while for those things, right? Especially on a Friday.
Mm-hmm. In moderation.
In moderation, absolutely. So we did 154 meals. That's combining breakfast and lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Then we decided, you know what? We got our feet wet. We got our processes in line. Let's blow it out of the water.
Let's go to the deep end.
Yes.
Let's advertise.
Yes.
Let's put the word
Yes.
out. Yep.
And the program guidelines actually suggest that you have some additional type of programs available so that if the parents are taking the time and the effort to get to your site to bring the kids, that there are other opportunities you could be working on.
So last year, what did we do last year? We did...
That was like crafts
reading.
we read to the kids.
Reading.
Absolutely. The library's there twice a week. Literacy is one of those huge issues where it's not pushed as much during the summer. Kids may be left alone at home to tend to themselves. I know there's required summer reading, but parents may not be as available to read the way they are being stimulated to read and pushed and challenged in school. And so we tend to see nationally those that have struggled during the school year slide backwards over the course of the summer. And so it was an opportunity for us to just continue to promote word knowledge development, literacy skills, and to help them achieve their goals of getting their reading done over the summer.
We had a lot of fun when any of those reading days. And we had other people from the community coming in and reading to the kids, and we were reading to the kids, and hopefully that excitement that having other people say, hey, reading is fun and it doesn't matter that school's out, let's read anyway.
Exactly.
So they're getting a free meal.
They're getting a
good
free meal.
They're having a positive interaction with other members of the community, including
Absolutely.
police.
Yes.
And I remember.
But you all had an idea that we brought into the hospital
With
that I'm giving you
cards?
complete props for.
With the
Jeez.
cards?
Yeah, the cards.
With the cards?
The cards. You all had said that there was a recognized,
Just
I'm
a
going to call
disconnect.
it
A
disconnect
Sure.
between extreme generations.
The young people that were
The young-
coming in to eat.
Exactly. And the elderly.
Yeah.
And especially in our area where the life expectancy, right, is a little lower than everywhere else in Charlotte. It's just a fact of today that families may not have as many grandparents around, and they may not be as familiar about how to relate. They may not feel like there's anything in common with
Right.
them. And so in an effort to bring the whole community together better, you all helped create cards, and then we would take the kids up actually and chaperone them and take them to the floors and give them an opportunity to do some, I call it community service, but
Yeah,
it was really
yeah,
a service
yeah.
for all, right? We're servicing the patients by bringing them a little unexpected cheer and love. And for a lot of the patients, maybe they didn't have family members come in. And you don't want anybody to
that's
be
sad.
lonely. And,
Right,
and
right, yeah. Well, and even
already
to
bad
wrap up
enough.
into that, we brought in the special needs community.
yes,
with-
they were
with-
incredible.
with
Quest.
Yes,
And that was just another way to just expose a different part of the community to more people.
absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, it was wonderful. And, you know, when the kids came back down, we would ask them, can you tell me in one word how that made you feel going up there? And from humble to sad, I felt love, emotional. I mean, there were a few scares because not everybody
Yeah.
sees that, and
Right,
but it's
right.
a great way
Can be
to
intimidating.
right, but to sensitize them to, you know, there's happiness going on in the hospital. We're still trying to heal people, but there's more to the hospital than just sick people.
Right.
And we wanted them to feel a sense of community also while they're here.
I think everyone that was involved in that was good for all of us. You know, we all took something away from doing that. I think so.
So you go from 154
54,
last, so 2018.
2017.
It was 2017. Oh.
What
That's
year
when we
is
were
this?
getting our feet. We're in
Okay.
2019
So how
now.
many,
Okay.
So how
Right.
about last summer?
So last summer we served 3,438 meals.
Over how long?
11 weeks.
So over
Goodness.
11 weeks. So, okay, I was thinking last year was
Yeah.
the first. Okay.
It was the first full year. It was the first year that we marketed the program, and it was an opportunity for us to have all of those enrichment programs as
Right.
well.
So fast forward to now. You're how
Yes.
how far into it are you right now?
I believe we're at
This
the
is
end
the
of
end
the
of
third
the third week?
Third week. So we have 8 more to go,
Okay. And what are you at?
and
numbers right
I
now?
believe we hit. Are y'all ready for this? 2,000 meals today.
What? 2,000.
Not in today, but
Of course.
as of
Yes.
This
today.
day.
As of this day.
You have almost
the 28th.
surpassed last 11 weeks last year in
Yes.
just the first two.
Yes.
So you have been very bored and
Yeah.
not doing much at work lately. Is that what
There's
you're
really
saying?
not a lot for me to do these days.
Kind of laying low. You know,
Yeah.
you know Elaine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be in the background.
Yeah.
Me too.
Not so much.
So that many meals, and have you added any more community
Yes.
entities or programs that are going on after the kids eat? What have we got added
Absolutely.
on this year?
So the YMCA is there Mondays and Fridays. Library is there Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesdays, we're trying a little something different. We're trying to actually what we are calling feed every need this summer. And we have some social work students from UNC Charlotte that are coming over screening for what we call social determinants of health, seeing if there are any other communities support options that they need to be connected with. We are talking about feelings and behaviors,
Yeah.
and we can help you all through that later too.
I have
Okay.
feelings.
And then we have some chefs from Sodexo that are coming doing cooking demonstrations on Wednesdays as well.
And
That's
then you've
really
also
awesome.
got, don't you have a market for fresh food?
We do. We
Right.
do. We have a giant produce table, and we are trying to make sure that we get that produce to the families that are there and anybody that might need it. But also, maybe you want to try it for the first time. You know, if you tasted it next door at the chef's table and you were able to practice some culinary skills there with them, because we have the setup for that this year, so that everybody's being safe in the kitchen with food preparation, that there's an opportunity for you to take some of that produce and no charge and
Cool.
take it home and try it. And then we have a talk with the doc table.
Oh, wow.
So
I
people
like
just have talk with the doc.
It doesn't rhyme as good as feed every need, but it still sounds cool.
Yeah,
Right.
talk.
I'm
You have to
into
kinda say it
rhymes.
like
Talk with the
talk
Talk with the doc.
Talk with the doc. You can't say talk with the doc.
Talk with the dolk.
Yeah.
Talk.
No. Talk with
Talk
the
with
doc.
the
Talk with the
doc.
doc.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So there was something I was going to say until the rhyme came up, and I can't remember what it was.
Kind of like sounds like me at CVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's really cool that there's
Thank
so
you.
much. I know what I was going to say. I think a lot of times people don't try new foods, and I know I do this. I see something cool. Oh, I want to try that. I have no idea how to prepare it. And then if somebody's there showing them how to cook,
Oh, yeah.
that might encourage to, hey, I'll try this produce because I know how to cook a carrot
Right.
now or something.
And that's an opportunity for us to say, oh, you know, these are all the different ways that you could prepare it. It's really quite easy. Your kids can join in and help you out. I do need to give another shout out that we have a chaplain that sits out there as well and connects with the kids, and we are creating a wall of gratitude this summer, trying
that's
to
right. We saw that.
get kids in touch with things they
Thankful
may have forgotten that they're thankful for. We have some therapy dogs that come in, and we're going to try and get some therapy pigs.
Bacon
I think I know
response
some.
team.
I think I know some.
Right?
Well, cool. We'll keep it up, Elaine.
Thank
and
you.
We're proud of what you do over
Yeah.
there.
Thank
now,
you.
could someone contact you if they needed to? Do you have an email address or something?
I do have an email
What's
address.
your email address if
It's-
anybody wants to reach out?
Well, you have an
Yes.
email address, but he didn't ask if you wouldn't
Mind.
or would mind
Yeah.
giving that out.
I
Elaine.
do not mind.
Okay.
It's elaine.jones@atriumhealth.org.
Good deal.
That's how
Awesome.
you find me.
All right.
Great.
Well, thank you again for being on the show and for the good news segment.
I
for
appreciate it.
this
And thanks
episode.
for all you all do every day.
Oh, shucks.
Man.
Thank-
Turn it over.
Come
Get
on.
outta here.
Whatever.
All righty. That was the good news segment on Please
Buzz
Pass
the
the
Bacon.
Bacon. Hey, that was a pretty good news segment.
It
I
was.
love that they do that there, and it's so much more than just come get a meal.
Right. Yeah, they're
You
doing
know?
a lot, providing a lot of services for a lot of kids and
Yeah.
and parents.
And it's fun that we get to be there too. I mean, they didn't have to, like Elaine didn't have to say, "Hey guys, come be a part of this. We really want you to be, in the middle of it all." You
Right.
know, but that's what happens when you have great contacts in the community.
Yep. Good stuff.
Oh, I forgot something at the beginning.
I know what you're going to say. Find the pig.
Find the pig.
Yep.
So, to remind people or to explain it,
If you're watching it on YouTube, we have hidden the pig somewhere on the set.
not us.
No,
A figure.
A figurine.
Pig.
There you go.
So what you would want to do on the YouTube is take a screenshot and then circle it
Send
Or
it to us
point.
by email.
at pleasepassthebaconpodcast@gmail.com. Send us that picture and we will send you
A T-shirt.
of Please
Pass
the
bacon.
Bacon. Yeah. So I forgot about that. So just to remind everybody about that.
So what's up next?
What is up
How
next?
about a good story?
Oh man, we got a good one.
Is it out of Indianapolis?
It's out of Indianapolis, and
Yep.
it was just on CBS this morning. And I'll look at this story, but the premise, just to summarize, young man gets locked up for armed robbery,
Yeah, gets arrested and has to serve 11 years.
sentenced to 11
Yes.
years. Mom is confused. Why would he do this? He's a good kid. Had recently lost his father and had been confused and
Yeah,
made a
just
mistake.
Acting out, made a mistake.
Made a mistake. Armed
A
robbery,
life-changing mistake, yeah.
Armed robbery is no joke.
Right.
Gets the 11 years. Gets out
Well, gets out early because of good,
after
good behavior.
4 years.
Right.
That's really good behavior.
Yeah.
So gets out after 4 years, is determined to not fall back into that life, and reaches out to who?
Well, reaches out to find a mentor.
A mentor. So he has enough wherewithal to say, I can't do this alone. My dad's gone. I still have my mom, but I need someone to help me.
To help
Who does he reach out for?
The officer the chief,
Well, at the
assistant
time.
chief now, or deputy chief.
Yeah.
At the time, the officer that arrested him.
Yes, right now he is Deputy Chief Brian Nugent, but at the time he was an officer / detective who had actually locked
Right.
in this young man's name, Ramil Patamber.
Yes, and he reaches out. So Ramil reaches out to the arresting officer, and now these two have a bond. He's a mentor for him.
Right, and Ramil had wanted to get into like house renovations
Yes.
and heating and air, and didn't necessarily know how to do that on his own. And now Deputy Chief Brian Nugent.
And in Ramil's words, he didn't know how to not go back to jail again.
Right.
He wanted to make sure he was doing everything the right way. And what better way to reach out to than a mentor who's also a police officer?
Yeah. So now he's out of that life. Him and the deputy chief still have a relationship.
Yep.
And he's doing great. And if that's not peopleizing the police and not
and just shows
so
us
much more than that.
There's more that brings us together than divides us. I think that's a great example of that. There's just more that we have in common, or more that we share than
that makes us different.
Us.
Right.
Yeah.
And his mom says in an interview, and you guys can see this on YouTube or CBS this morning. I mean, she basically says there's a lot of good cops out there. And because there's a couple of bad ones doesn't mean they're all bad. And just because someone like her son makes a mistake doesn't mean there's no hope and that everyone else is like that too. So
the big step is respect from both sides.
Right, and she says that
in her words.
Yeah,
respect,
and that
from
is
both
huge.
sides. Yep.
And that is, we put that under peopleizing the police, but it's also peopleizing people. Hey, just because someone commits a violent crime one time.
I said that all the time. About we used to arrest a lot of people for a lot of gun charges, dope charges, but and if there was their child around, we want to make sure we would try to get in their ear a little bit and say, look, your dad or whoever, they're not a bad person. They made a bad decision.
Right, and that's why we never we try to steer away from. We catch bad guys. We got to lock up the bad guys. No, we have to keep people safe. And sometimes we have to take people that have made a mistake.
That's
to jail.
part of the job, yes.
Right.
Because the community does need to be kept safe from people. Because there are some people who make those choices over and over and over and over and victimize people and the community, and that's got to be dealt with too.
Exactly. So that's peopleizing the police.
All right.
So last week on the joke thing. I took a 1-0 lead.
Okay.
How are you feeling about it?
Okay.
I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
You're going to say, well, Chad, it really wasn't fair. You weren't looking at me.
No.
And this time you're going to look at me. That's my Jason voice.
I was going to say that. Not in that
like
tone. I was going to say that.
Because that sounded nothing like you.
Well, I was going to say that one thing I noticed, how about that, in post-editing.
I was like this.
Well, we haven't set that as the ground rule. That when you were telling the joke, you have to look at each other in the eye when you're telling the joke. Well, that's a game changer. I looked at you in the eye.
You're right.
Probably because I'm just more of a respectful person. You tend to look away and you avoid eye contact.
That's because I get tired of looking at you every day. But that's not dismissing that you could be speaking the truth.
Yes.
The point. Right now, for you listeners and not watchers, I'm pointing
not just with one finger, but a pinky and your thumb. Okay.
All right.
So
it is joke time.
Okay. So I think that protocol's probably going to need to be that if you do score a point and the other does not, you get to choose who goes first.
Not rock, paper, scissors again?
Let's
winner?
No, rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, me too, because it's fair. Ready? Rock,
One,
paper,
two,
scissors, shoot. Rock,
One,
paper,
two,
scissors,
shoot.
shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Come on.
Okay,
Go,
that
go,
was
go, go.
okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Jason got
Finally.
me with a rock over
That's
the
like
scissors.
eight in a row.
Goodness, that was obnoxious.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Do you want me to tell my joke first, or do you want to tell your joke
I think
first?
I'll go.
Oh, boy.
Eye contact.
Eye contact.
So
now,
we're going to have to shift a little bit to be able to,
I just feel like I want to throw a dart
pick an
right
eye,
on your
or
nose.
you can look at the bridge of the nose, but whatever it is, it has to look like eye contact.
I'm gonna throw a dart on you.
Okay.
So if I smile, smirk, laugh. Is a smirk? Did we say
No,
smirk?
you can
counts?
smirk.
Okay.
You can smirk. It has to be I think it has to be a laugh. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
here we
buddy,
go.
go.
Okay.
I'm almost gonna laugh at you getting ready to tell the joke. So,
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Chad.
Jason,
Knock knock.
who's there?
Interrupting cop.
Interrupting.
You're under arrest. Timing. I should have let you go a little bit longer
that
with
was
the question.
really good.
Okay.
That was good, dude. You about had me. Even though, because one of the jokes me and my kids always say is knock knock, who's there? Interrupting. Moo!
Interrupting cat.
Interrupting cow. That was good.
Thanks. Made it up
You made that up?
myself.
So what you did was you looked at my formula last week for making up your own joke and the knock knock, and you said, I'm going to get him this time.
Well, let me tell you actually how that happened is I put off so long finding my joke for the day. As I was setting up the equipment for the podcast, realized I still don't have a joke. And I went ahead and pulled from the kids who first told me that joke. Interrupting baby, I think is what it was. Wah. Yeah. And so,
I thought it was because you were doing the door.
No, but I thought it was perfect though.
Yeah, that's a great one.
What did I say? You're under arrest.
You're under arrest.
What was my joke the one time? You are under
a
arrest.
vest. Yes.
See, so I kind of circled back again.
That was really
Yeah,
close, dude.
yeah.
That was a good one.
Okay, that's the first time I've at least gotten a smile.
Yeah, that
a
was
big
good.
smile. All right, you're up.
All right. Jason. May I call you Jason?
Yes, you may.
What do you call an alligator wearing a vest?
I don't know.
An investigator. An investigator.
Yeah.
It's a gator wearing a vest.
Yeah.
He's investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We are back to 0-0
whoa.
for today.
For today.
For today,
No,
which still seasons total is having you at 1 and me still at 0. So good
Okay.
work.
All right.
Good.
Let's move on from there.
Well, we're going to move on with talking about what bacon is going to be rated at the end of the show today.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, but I will mention it again because
did?
yeah, you were talking
Oh,
to Elaine, I
okay.
think. But we'll remind everybody. Boar's head, uncured, naturally smoked.
And when I heard that, my first response was, "Can we not do a smoked once?" And then, of course, Chad, "Oh, we don't have many bacons out there that aren't smoked." That's my impression of you. Yeah, we don't
Put up
have
your
many.
dukes.
There just aren't many out there that aren't smoked. There's just what they do with bacon. So I guess we're stuck with smoked.
We're stuck with smoked.
So do a
However,
little bit more work to maybe try to find something not smoked. I'm just saying.
now that I know that you are so unabout the smoked,
I'm not unabout it. I just everything that we've had has been smoked. Maybe not.
no, not
Jason
everything.
Jeans.
Jason Jeans from Tattered Beans,
Was
his
not
was
smoked.
very pure,
Okay.
unadulterated.
All right. So let me apologize, but I'm not. No, let me take the apology back because Jason brought that, not you.
Even if you did apologize, I wouldn't
You
accept
wouldn't
it.
accept it. Okay. Good deal.
All right. You want to talk about an obscure law now?
Yes. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so in New Hampshire, I better not ever catch you doing this.
Okay. And
Okay,
that's the town of Enfield, New Hampshire.
Enfield specifically.
Right.
Like I said, I better not ever find you doing this, Jason.
Okay.
No having picnics in cemeteries.
Or horseback riding.
If you ride, okay, here's what I don't want to see you do. Riding your horse through the cemetery, hunting for food, and then you have a picnic.
After you've picked or mutilated flowers, either wild or domestic, or disturbed any trees.
So, and then in the course of your horseback riding and hunting, you better not have used a gun because
You can't discharge a firearm in a cemetery.
right, you wouldn't want to kill anybody.
And again, we talked about this. I think the discharging of the firearm, a little redundant because I would say most cities, maybe towns even, have a law against discharging a firearm within the city limits.
Yeah, the only thing I could think is if it's the cemetery that's in the middle of nowhere.
True.
It's
maybe
like
maybe
a county.
in a county.
Yeah, so that could be the only. Why you would want to shoot guns.
I think my favorite verbiage in this statute is you are not allowed to allow
I know what you're-
any dog or domestic animal to run at large within a cemetery.
The only thing that would have made that better is if it had said run amok.
To run amok. To run at large.
So, and this is actual general regulations for the town of Enfield. Shall not allow a dog or other domestic animal to run at large within any cemetery.
But yeah, it's the
So
whole,
it's like using it as like a dog. Hey, where am I going to take the dog? Let's go to the where the dead people live.
Or it just makes me think of like the Did The Bachelor try to do something in the New Hampshire cemeteries where they went on a horseback ride and they did a picnic and they were like, no more of that here. We're going to institute this law. Because it just seems like a date. Like, where did that become a problem when there was lots of horseback riding and picnicking in cemeteries?
What I might think could have happened, I don't know about the picnicking, but maybe back in the day, it was kind of like
you visit with your
right. It's like a visiting the grave, and then you eat there, maybe. But
what about the horseback riding?
I don't know about. But wait,
Rewind. Okay.
I could see like a lot of vagrants or homeless people that would drink. You know, it's an isolated area usually, so they're out there just, drinking on the premises. I could see, like, we don't want people hanging around. It's a place of respect.
Yeah,
we don't want you getting drunk.
Okay, there is a part.
Yeah,
there is
it's
a part
under the
about
picnic
that.
grounds part.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't see anything about consuming alcoholic beverages, but I got you. All right,
yeah,
well, cool.
But yes, back to your thing. Well, before we wind it, why are people riding horses through the cemetery?
I don't know. We'd have to do some
If anybody
that,
like we had our chicken grease, our kitchen grease,
kitchen grease,
where one of our listeners reached out to us with some good information. If anybody has anything about this that would help shed a little light on the hunting and
there has to be something historical with horseback riding in cemeteries.
In New Hampshire, it's
there you go. All right, so
that's our obscure
let's
law.
Talk about
maybe something useful.
Something useful like a crime prevention tip.
Great idea. Was that?
I don't know.
Was that Wayne and Garth?
Like there's like a segue, a Wayne and Garth segue. Summer break-in, summer home. Let me back up.
Go ahead and
break-ins
say the
in
words.
the summer when people are on vacation.
Yes.
How do you prepare yourself from not becoming a victim of a home break-in while you're gone? Starting with mail.
Mail. Stop it.
Have your mail stopped for the week you're gone.
Or somewhere else. Just don't let it build up in your mailbox.
Don't let it build up. Have your neighbor check out for packages during each day. Make sure it's not building up on the porch.
Well, and what's, not a lot of people get the newspaper delivered, I don't think. But you still get those, like, those ad things.
Yeah.
So you could get days worth of those. And
so mail in the mailbox, stuff at the end of the driveway, and packages on the porch. So have a neighbor check out for those things. Stop your mail so you don't have to worry about things getting taken out of the mailbox.
Things you can do to make it look like someone is home. On top of that would be like your lights. We used to, like in the old days, we had the timers for our lights, but now we have like smart plugs and not Alexas, but Alexas and other.
And many of those you can change the schedule on your app. So when you're away, you can change the schedule so it's not automatic, coming on at 8 o'clock every night, off at 10 o'clock. And then changing up the room so there's not just a light coming on in the living room
all the time.
Right.
Like, why is that room on at 4 a.m? It's never on. We can make it look like we're home. And then if you have, good enough neighbors, hey, if you didn't take both your cars or whatever, have them just put it in the driveway.
Sure. Feel free to park it in my driveway while you're gone. And also setting an alarm, having an alarm, setting an alarm. Even if you don't have that alarm monitored, have that alarm set because it will do one of two things. That, let's say your back door gets kicked in, that alarm goes off. They're either going to spend a very short amount of time in your home.
Because the alarm's going off?
Noise, you don't want to have attention brought to you. Or as soon as that door gets kicked open, noise goes off, and they're gone. Now you're only having to deal with damage and not a loss of property. So, some good tips there.
Absolutely, especially this time of year.
Anything else?
I think
those are the major ones. Oh, the hiding the key thing. That's another thing. People would like to kind of hide a key around the back somewhere, especially while they're gone. If somebody needs to get in the house and they let a neighbor know.
Not a good idea.
Not the best idea. If you do want to give the neighbor a key, have them keep that key in their home.
Right, in their possession, not just out where anyone could find it.
Definitely.
Okay, that's a good safety prevention tip. crime. All right, moving on. You want to get into a little meat and potatoes? You want to talk meat and taters?
Yeah, I thought you had a good idea about this episode.
What was funny, because you had talked about, you were actually talking about it with someone. So what we were kind of wanting to address today was, a lot of what we talk about is peopleizing the police, but
And just perceptions, kind of changing perceptions of what police are outside of police work.
So we'll start with this: tattoos, beards, mustaches,
And body cams.
and body cams.
Really, body cams.
Yeah.
We'll start with that. How about that?
You want to start with body cams?
Sure. We'll get that. We'll get
Okay.
that out of the way.
Well, Jason, are they good or bad? Pros, cons. What do we got?
So pros, cons, body cams. I think one of the cons is that the body cam
Mm-hmm.
is going to tell the whole story.
That's what people think.
The perception of a body cam is if a body cam is present and on, that you're going to see the whole story.
And there won't be any question.
And no questions. Boom. That's what happened. Done deal. Close the books on that one. And that's
Not
just
the case.
not the case.
It's not.
Well, partly because of how they're attached. We used to have them where they're attached to your collar or your glasses, but at some point, if they're sunglasses, they're going to go on your head. Now you're looking at the ceiling. If they're on
Yep.
your collar, they just didn't attach well, and
Right.
at
They
some
moved
point,
around too
They
much.
moved around a bunch. So now you're looking at the ground, you're looking at the sky, and that's because you're taking seatbelt on and off. You're, if you get into a tussle with somebody, that thing gets knocked off. Now,
At least we have
at
the
least
ones.
we do, and I think you do see a lot where they're attached with really strong
Iron Man.
magnets to your chest, like
The Iron Man cam.
yeah, exactly. Those as well. If you get into a tussle, that's going to get knocked off. There's no question.
Well, and if you're within if you're in a tussle, this isn't a boxing match. There's not going to be a few feet
Yeah.
to get a view.
that camera is going to be
Against somebody.
someone's
Right.
shirt or whatever, the ground.
And even when that doesn't happen, you said it. Just because, we've seen videos released where, let's just say for the sake of argument, 100 people watch it. They're not
you're
all going to
still-
have the same.
There is still
Right.
division.
Right.
I get that. What I would like to see with body cams is when any kind of footage is presented to the public, that it's presented in a context, that it's not
Right.
just,
Hey guys,
Here-
here's the video.
here's the video.
Oh my gosh.
Give it a
with
context.
no backstory. We talked about this last time.
Just about having the information that was known leading up to the incident when the camera came on, and then what happened after, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily as important as everything leading up to and the actual event.
Well,
But-
we see after a shooting, an officer goes from an adrenaline dump to body starting to go back to normal. And so I think sometimes if the public can see their reaction, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened, or
Right.
I can't, they're in shock and awe and scared, and they're trying to process what happened too. And I think if people see that human side instead of, oh my gosh, they were just
a
kill
machine.
somebody.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that would be good.
So I brought up the cons. Here's the thing I don't believe. I don't believe that you can put it back in Pandora's box has been open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to put cameras away now. I think it's
too
an
late.
expectation. I think it's too late. So yeah, that's the con, I feel like. The pros, I think there are pros to it.
I agree.
Because they have exonerated many officers with this complaint was made on this officer. They pulled the body cam video.
It clearly
and
didn't
here
happen.
is clearly what happened. So I think that is a big benefit, because in the day and age where it's a he said, she said, if you can avoid that at all costs,
If you can stop that ball before it starts rolling.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
agree. And a lot of times, no matter who you are, if you know there's a camera there, you are going to be more cognizant.
absolutely.
So
it is a behavior.
It helps you
changer.
stay on course. It
Right.
helps as an officer stay on course. Like, okay, not that I would ever, lie about what happened, but people that mistrust police or may have been lied to, they're going to feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have that there to back up your side, it
or
helps.
in some cases where it does not exonerate an officer, but it actually gets them into trouble,
Yeah.
I don't know, if you find that there was lying, if you find that there was something done, then that it allows all of us, police officers, community, to get behind the rallying cry of that individual probably should not be a police officer. And
if they're going to
share that.
if they're going to continue to be one, something needs to be done. You can't just say you shouldn't do that again and back to the street they go.
Right.
Something needs to be done.
Yeah, some accountability there. So, until the day where we actually have drones attached to our back, we joke about this all the time.
We do joke about that.
But I was thinking about this.
Hang on.
I wouldn't,
deploy drone.
Yeah. Right. But I could see at some point, I'm sure this is years off, but a drone attached to the top of a police car. Yeah. And when you get out of the car, that drone is sitting on a charger. And then when you get out, up
flies up behind you.
So I wouldn't be surprised if one day, because that's the only way to get a bird's eye view of what's going on.
Right.
And that's still not going to be definitive in and of itself. Like, that's not going to be end all be all. You've got there are so many bits of information that have to come together to create the case or the incident, not just a camera. Because how many times do we see clips of video pulled together to make you think this happened, but when you look at all of it and you hear the whole story, it's a very
different.
It's a very different thing.
So, and that's what I would say to the general public. That's what I would say to officers. Like, hey, if you do see the video, try to get as much information about it as possible before you want to say, oh, they're in the right, they're in the wrong.
Right.
Let's find out everything first,
right,
before we go painting someone to a corner.
Yeah, because we share that same idea with community. Like, if there's an officer out there doing something they shouldn't be doing, they shouldn't be wearing the uniform,
making us look bad.
Right. It just makes our job harder. We don't want that individual in law enforcement anymore either.
So that's that.
Anyway, on a different track, we talked about perceptions. Yeah, tattoos.
I have 5 tattoos, Jason. What do you think about that?
I think that you have 5 tattoos, and in this day and age, it doesn't bother me. It's just so common. I mean, you have all kinds of people who have tattoos.
Well, can I tell you that I did not get mine in prison?
Right.
I did not.
Which, I don't know if that's why tattoos became a policy, that it was a prison thing. I don't even know what the history behind it.
I'm not in a gang either. So I think that, I do think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I do think gangs and prison and, I mean, I guess maybe sometimes even the military, they were giving themselves tattoos, but that's not a bad place to be getting tattoos. But there is a certain population in the public that feel that it's a bad thing.
I feel like it's older folks who see tattoos and they see it as a.
I don't know. I've even had some of my friends. I mean, there are there's some religious reasons to not have them, of course. But even people around my age. When I told them I have my kids, that's what my shoulder ones are.
Right.
These are my kids' names.
Right.
And it's called an ambigram. So one direction.
It reads the same in both directions.
No. One direction, it's one kid's name. The other direction, it's the other kid's name. So I have 4 kids. I have 2 tattoos. So I say, oh, yeah, I got my kids' names tattooed. Why? So you won't forget them? I'm like, right. All right, you clearly you're not a tattoo.
Yeah, it's not your thing.
That's fine. Which is fine.
But I'm sure not all departments have that policy.
Yeah,
of tattoos.
Right. Because, I mean, mine, you can barely see. Some people have an entire sleeves.
Yeah.
And does that make the officer more intimidating? Does it make him less human, more human?
Or is it, for some people, as it probably would be, is it easier to relate to them?
Yeah. Hey, cool. He's got tattoos.
Right. He's got tattoos, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. We'd be curious to know in the comments below.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah. What do you think? Is tattoos something you would not want to see on a police officer, or is it too intimidating? Is it humanizing on some level?
Yeah. It's definitely. I'm sure there's people that'll be on both sides of that.
Right.
But I mean, like you said, in this day and age, some ink on your skin shouldn't tell the whole story of who you are.
No.
So I don't know. Okay. So going along with tattoos,
I guess, would you say tattoos is a newer thing? It's probably a newer thing. When I say that, like sleeves, stuff like that, that's probably a little newer.
It's definitely more popular. I think a lot of like the MMA stuff that
Sure.
brought out a lot of tattoos.
But when I say
and
newer, I'm talking about
in
10
the
years.
last 10, yeah.
What is not necessarily newer is
Facial
beards
hair,
and mustaches, facial hair, right?
right?
Some departments, you cannot have a beard, but you can have a stash.
A cool stash.
What do you think about that? Let me tell you what I think about that.
Please tell me what you think
I
about
don't
that.
quite get. I think you go no facial hair, right? You go none, clean
or
shaven,
whatever.
or you maybe just open it up a little bit to just keep the stash in there. I know that there's what is it? Is it November?
Movember, yeah.
Okay, so mustache Movember, right? So that's one time a year, right? But the stash, the mustache, which we work in a department that allows no facial hair, but you can have a mustache.
It's just there's like regulations with the stash. Like
It can't.
go,
Yeah, it's very
like, too
specific.
low
Can't go below like the corner
lip.
of the mouth,
Yeah.
certain amount. Yeah, you can't have that like kind of low hanging mustache, whatever. And as a matter of fact, I was talking about with one of our, or a couple of our guys on our crime reduction unit. We were talking about tattoos. That came up, and then that kind of segued into the facial hair. And so I kind of tried to steer the conversation toward mustaches, and I was kind of dogging on mustaches, and
because you're not a stash guy.
I'm not a stash
Neither
guy.
of us are stash guys.
Yeah. And I know they're out there. I know plenty of people have them. It's not a dig on stashes because it works for some people.
Right, it does.
I can't pull it off.
I can't either. My dad is a stash guy.
Yeah.
I remember he shaved it off once. I was like,
I just can't pull it off.
I laughed at him.
And if you're gonna think of something's facial hair is creepy, it's usually stashes on people. Well, so we're talking about that, right? It's just guess what? I look over in the corner. It's just three of us in there. You know, me, a couple of the guys who've been on for a while. And I look in the corner, and lo and behold, it's a rookie, and he's got a mustache.
Like full-fledged?
Starting to grow a mustache. And so, of course, insert foot in mouth. You know, I'm like, sorry, bud. I said, no offense to you. No offense to you. But mustaches are pretty 70s.
Yeah, maybe early 80s.
Yeah.
But why just above the lip? As soon as it gets into the goatee, are we saying that becomes intimidating?
I don't know. I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe somebody wants to make another comment below as to why.
Yeah. What do you guys feel that a goatee is intimidating? I mean, it might be. I mean, like a lot of guys pull off the shaved head and the goatee, and they
shaved head goatee could look
tough,
extreme. Yeah.
But what about a full beard?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that?
Like you're talking about Grizzly Adams' beard?
No. I'm well manicured.
Okay.
But
well kept.
Yes, well kept beard.
Yeah, I think you could work that in there, right? You open up the doors a little bit to facial hair. You keep it nice and clean. You can say that. You can even put a ruler to it and say you can't exceed.
Can't be this long.
An inch off the face, half inch, whatever.
Do you think a full beard is professional?
I don't know.
Well, here's what I think has happened a lot of. Like, and there are other religious reasons to not shave, and there's skin conditions as well.
Sure.
So I think we're seeing a lot of that these days, where maybe some people that just don't want to shave are trying to
use that loophole because that's a legit loophole with razor burn and bumps and stuff like that, and that's that's just a terrible feeling.
Yeah. So
but yeah, I would say there may be some people out there who are exploiting that little loophole.
Yeah, don't ruin it for the people that are legitimately having trouble. It's okay to shave.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That it's interesting that how we look beyond the uniform plays such a part in how we're perceived, because it is a whole picture.
Well, let us know down below what you think about body cams, beards, and mustaches. There you go.
That's that. Would you? It's time.
Oh,
it is time.
I've smelled it since we came in.
Whoever smelt it,
cooked it.
Okay. We'll go with that one. We'll go with that. Would Jason?
Yes,
would you
Chad.
Please pass the bacon.
Gladly.
Music. It's bacon eating music.
On the podcast.
Please
Bacon
pass the
eating music on the
bacon.
podcast.
Look at the reveal. If you're I know if you're just listening, you couldn't see how Jason just took the paper towel off of there, but it was very well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, my good man. I think there's a hair.
That's yours. That can be your piece then.
Is that a hair on my bacon?
It's probably the paper towel.
It's okay. Just like a
Yeah.
little bacon.
Yeah, it's just a bacon hair.
Ugh.
I'm going to apologize to my piggies.
Here we go.
All
So
right.
again, this is the
Boar's Head. You're wrecking the place again. I am so glad you did that because we almost made it through the whole episode without you wrecking the joint. Boar's Head, naturally smoked, uncured. Again, the voice came out there for a second.
You might have the worst English accent I've
What
heard.
do you speak of, sir?
All right,
Place
let's do
the
it.
bacon in your mouth. Yum. It's a little crunchier this time for you.
Yeah, I like that. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead since you did the joke.
I would like it to be a little saltier when it comes to my bacon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a 3.75. How about you?
Man, that's real close. I was going to say 3.8.
Really? So a 3. Is that what you're going to go with?
3.8.
Even though for the 19th time where it's either a full point or by quarter points, meaning 3.25, 3.5, 3.75, or a 4.0.
I'm sorry. We'll go with a 3.81.
3.75 for us both. It is.
Ah!
Okay.
He's not listening to me.
So our one of our lower rated bacons overall.
Which, I mean, it's good. It's just
No, it's
yeah.
good. I mean, all bacon is good
Yeah, it's good. What?
for the most part.
Yeah.
We haven't had any that wasn't good.
Correct.
All right.
All right. Well,
So if you're looking to cook your bacon in a new home in Charlotte or a surrounding area, you should check out CarolinaSunshineHomes.com.
because you don't want a realtor, you want
The realtor.
contact Krista today with your home buying and selling needs. Home selling and buying needs.
There you go.
Thank you
Dun,
to
dun.
Reed Reynolds for the original music. Follow him on Instagram at Reed.Reynolds. And you can see us on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube. You can email us. Again, that's Please Pass the Bacon podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. And when you do subscribe on YouTube, don't forget to click that little bell there so you get notifications when we do when we upload new content, which we just uploaded one of our P4 episodes, Crime Tips with Tom Cruise.
Boy,
the
because
one
you
and
wouldn't
only.
want to miss out. Wait,
I don't even know what you just did.
I was trying so hard. Now I can't find the voice I was looking for. That's not it.
It's better than your English accent, but I don't know what you're doing.
Good Lord. How dare you insult my English accent?
All right, folks.
All right.
We'll see you next time on Please Pass the
Pass the
Bacon.
Bacon.
Hello,
show
bye.
is
Over now. It's time for the weekend.
because it's Friday.
Oh,
Friday.
I couldn't do anything else. You killed it
How
with
do
the
you- how do you
explosion. That
end
was the
with
end of it.
explosion. That's it. That calls it.